Hey, welcome back. It's Alex. I'm here to bring you some news, and we're going to talk about CRISPR again today. It looks like Zach analysts are highlighting CRISPR Therapeutics along with Vertex Pharmaceuticals and Intellia. They were talking about how stocks rallied around 80% in 3 months, and they wanted to highlight them, mentioning that they had rapid growth, rapid progress. So it looks like they're talking about their lead pipeline candidate, CTX001. So it's a CRISPR gene-edited therapy. Its goal is to tackle sickle cell disease. The cool news is that the company announced some additional data. Let's go check it out. All right, so we got this article, Zach's Analyst blog highlights. Right here, we're talking about demonstrating consistent and sustained response in treating patients with SCD and TDT. That's the sickle cell disease and the transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia. So basically, their responses are working, is what that's trying to say. They're trying to highlight it and say that they think there could be a huge boost if they identify it and they treat it. I think that's really interesting the way they mention that, because I've been looking at these guys, and obviously it's speculative. You know, you don't get into any of these CRISPR stocks like thinking it's going to go up tomorrow. This is a stock that you're buying a year out, maybe even 5 years to 10 years in advance, and you're holding it and hoping that they have some breakthroughs. That's kind of the name of this game here, is just the community thinks that CRISPR is the right tool for the job, right? But that doesn't mean it's for sure. The thing is, it looks like it's promising, and that's why everyone's excited about it. There's no guarantees. They're not making money on it right now. But the thing is they're just identifying a market. They're seeing that at current day's valuations, if they address this disease, there's a lot of potential upside. That's what Zax is trying to say here, which is cool. So it's just saying if you believe they're going to cure it, there could be potential upside. That's all it's saying. This isn't even financial advice. This is just me talking and explaining what they're trying to say. You just have to know the risk. You have to know what you're getting involved in. That's all. And look at this. They mentioned that using CRISPR, right, using genomics to edit genes, defective ones, is one of the most promising and exciting healthcare innovations seen in decades. I think so too. I mean, just looking at what I've heard, I mean, it didn't sound like we have a lot of great tools to address things, especially not at the gene level. And they found this breakthrough with CRISPR where they're actually able to edit these genes. I like it. I still like it. I've brought other news. I keep seeing news. This is another article. It seems like every week there's a great article about it. So, we're just watching as it progresses. CRISPR Therapeutics developing 3 gene-edited allogenic cell therapy programs. That's really cool. So they're working on tumor cells for cancer. CRISPR is working on tumor cells for cancer. Of course, a positive outcome would drive the stock upwards because the potential addressable market is massive for this. They're expecting data readouts in the ongoing year. So this is kind of what I said. This is basically going along with what I said earlier. The data, is being collected this year. So, I mean, I wouldn't buy this and then expect it to go up tomorrow. I would buy this and hold it for 1 to 5 years. I would hold it for 10 years. That's what I'm going to do. And this isn't financial advice. This is just me and what I'm going to do. So I like the promise of waiting for data, and then if the data is great, the stock's going to jump. It's an exciting thing. Some might attribute it to gambling, but I mean, it's gambling with a lot of good data. We're talking about a gene editing company that's had success, and now we know for sure they're working on cancer, which is a huge market. So really cool. I like that Zach's put this out. I'm going to keep looking out for more information. They got it as a hold. I personally, I think it's the same at any price around here is essentially before solving cancer. So I want to buy this stock because I think it's pre-cancer prices, pre-cancer cure prices. And I'm hoping for after cancer cure prices. It's about that simple. I could go into the numbers of what the addressable market is, but keeping it simple, we already know that if they actually went and cured some of this stuff, it's an easy 10 to 100x. So yeah, they're working on taking market share from all the big pharmaceutical companies. So I just want to give you my opinion of what I think about CRISPR. I think it's a speculative stock with a lot of promise. I'm very excited about that kind of stuff. I'm holding it at a pretty small percentage in my overall. I think it's at like a 1%. I think I have maybe 1% of my entire stock portfolio in CRISPR, which, it's something. I'd like to bump it up, but I don't have a lot of extra cash right now. So I'm kind of just slowly buying it when I can. That's just my way of going about this speculative company. But anyway, I'm not expecting any gains from this stock for a long time. I mean, it could be this year. Whether it did or didn't come, I wouldn't care. I would never sell the stock. I'm just in it for the long haul. The money I put in here, it goes in, and then if anything comes out, it's amazing. If it doesn't, that's fine too. It was worth 1% of my portfolio and a chance at a risky stock. It doesn't seem to me, this doesn't seem as risky as investing in something like a GameStop. Although GameStop is amazing, and it would have been great to be in that. I did not catch it. I was thinking about doing it, but I didn't. I did happen to buy into Party City, and that thing went up about like 600%. So I guess I got lucky. I didn't get quite the 10x from GameStop or whatever it did recently, 15x. But I had with Party City, I did not expect it to go up as much as it did. I was actually thinking that this pandemic wouldn't last as long as it did, and I thought things would just go back to normal, and all the stocks that dipped would go back to normal. Unfortunately, it looks like it's taking a lot longer. So that's fine. Sometimes you got to take risks. You gotta be optimistic. I feel like being optimistic often returns better gains than being pessimistic, because when you're pessimistic, it's tough to make gains off of being pessimistic, and shorting stocks is a lot tougher to make gains on. You're hoping for a drop when stocks tend to climb, especially with low interest rates and especially with fears a little bit more in the rear window. Things tend to rise. So it's like being optimistic is just a lot easier way to make money, and so that's why I'm taking an optimistic position on this. Anyway, I'm going to keep the lookout with CRISPR stock and CRISPR news, and I'll bring it to you as soon as I see something interesting. This article was interesting in my opinion, but a little bit more of the same, except for, now I know for sure they're working on cancer, which is very good. And I yet again, another person reiterating that it's coming this year, the data could be coming out this year. So that keeps me in line. But my overall thesis is the same, the speculative stock. So that's how I'm just playing it that way. It's up to you how you play it. But I'm going to keep on the lookout, see if anything new comes out. So anyway, thanks for watching. Keep in touch. I'm going to try to keep bringing you information. I've been moving lately. A lot of things have been going on, so I haven't been able to make videos like I want. But I am excited to get back on that and continue to pump them out. Of course, this isn't financial advice, and I've had a good track record so far with my investing, and I just want to share it with you. And I'm hoping that helps people. Nobody's perfect, but if being more informed, having more ideas always helps. Always double, triple check all of your sources. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. And the more information you can get inside of your head, the better you're going to do in the end. And that's how I've done. So far, I can say honestly, I've tripled all the money I've ever invested in stocks. My entire portfolio has tripled. Some of those gains, some of those stocks were bigger than others. There were a couple losers, but I barely even invested in them because I didn't have a level of conviction that would put me to invest a lot in something. It takes a lot for me to be convinced to invest a large portion of my assets in a stock. So I look for a lot of information. I look for multiple sources. I look for decent financials, and I look for like a good promise and like a reason. And with CRISPR, you're seeing the technology kind of come together. You're seeing the direction, and everyone's talking about the direction. You can even talk to physicists. I've watched Michio Kaku and a lot of physicists talk about where we're going to be at in the future. Specifically for my generation and this generation that we're in, they mentioned that based on physics and the rate of innovation, we should be able to expand our life long enough to live. He even mentioned living forever. It's a wild concept, but it's a fun concept, and I like it a lot. Essentially, I mean, who wouldn't like that concept? But the concept is that as we get older, this generation, the millennials and so on, they're going to keep coming out with cures to illness and disease and age that's going to slowly diminish age from happening, essentially, because age is just errors in your genetic code. And he thinks that this generation, the millennials, will never die or will have the best shot to never die because of gene editing, but also the medical field evolving to a point where they can treat illnesses as they come up and fend off death as long as they can until they hit a point where they can prolong life indefinitely. Now, he didn't, you can go ahead and Google Michio Kaku, Google living forever. You'll come up with different physicists talking about it. It's definitely a theory that physicists believe in, and this gene editing, to me, it kind of fits the puzzle almost too well. It almost feels like it came too soon. I mean, I knew that they would prolong life, but gene editing, yeah, it could definitely prolong life a lot sooner than I even think he was predicting, to be honest. He made it sound like it would take 10 to 20 years. I mean, it's been 10 years since I watched the documentary, so I don't know. Well, it's been many years since I watched the documentary, but so I'll have to touch up back on that, and I'll probably make a video about it for you guys just for fun, just to like get an idea of what physicists think can happen, and then go into the real world and look at where our actual companies are at and what they're actually doing and where the research is going. The idea of CRISPR fits in this whole grand scheme of prolonging life. And physicists think this is going to happen. We just don't know what exact method they're going to use. So thanks for watching. Thanks for going on that little tangent with me, having some fun. And I'm going to bring you a couple more interesting tidbits next time. Anyway, see you guys next time.